Hey, the PMP exam is one of the most difficult tests for professionals, and we've heard this from everyone. But not to worry, you have a coach who eats the PMBOK for lunch. Here he is to set the record straight for you, your friend Phil.
Hello, my awesome project managers. It's your friend Phil here. You didn't think I would let you go that quick. If you thought I would, now you know I didn't. There's one more very important thing we need to do. I gave you the challenge to master page 25, okay? I don't know how many of you have mastered page 25, but I told you I needed you to know page 25 coming into class today, Wednesday, the 5th of February, 2020, 6 p.m. Eastern. We have an appointment. You're meant to come prepared knowing your knowledge areas, your process groups, your processes. I have videos that cover doing the dump. I have a video that covers understanding what exactly you're doing in each process. But today we're taking it to the next level. Next level. That's right. And those of you that are on with me live, you have the opportunity right now to chat in if you have any questions about anything PMP related. I would like you to either use the comment box below, or you can also use the chat box. Okay? I will endeavor to get the chat box open shortly, and then you can chat in live if you have any questions for me. All right. So anyway, what I'm going to do today is show you the extended version of the page 25 brain dump. Lots of you know this page 25 brain dump. You do it all the time. That's the beginning. We need to take it up a notch today. And some of you who have attended my training in the past, you probably know what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you to extend page 25. So take out a pen, a paper. Maybe you can use Excel if you have Excel right there. And you have your page 25 already from a previous video. I'll show you that. You might recall that. That is from the last episode we had. Okay? So those are your 49 processes. Now what we're going to do today, like I said, is build on this. It's one thing to know the processes, but the next step I want you guys to get to is knowing the outputs cold. And I'm talking about the major outputs. I'm not talking about just any old outputs. I'm talking about the major outputs. That is my interest. The major outputs, knowing them, it's really going to help keep you on the ball. You're going to begin linking stuff. This table without knowing the outputs is not good enough. It's okay. It's not bad, but you need to amp it up and go to the next level. So I'm going to show you how to take this table, what I think you should do with this table, take the table, and then flesh out all the core outputs, every single core output. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So we're going to start off as usual with develop project charter. We're going to go all the way down the table by process group, and we are going to intentionally work on this stuff because I know a lot of folks say, Phil, I would love to do this, but I don't have the time. Let's make the time right now. Let's do it. Okay. So we're going to start off with develop project charter right here. What is the major output of develop project charter? Do you know? The major output of develop project charter. 1, the project charter. 2, the assumption log. So what I would like you to do is to add to your table project charter and assumption log. Just like that. Make it big enough so that it makes sense to you when you look at it. You could even color code it and resize it if you need to. I think that's as small as it's going to get. Make sense? Good. Let's go down to the next one in initiating. Identify stakeholders. What is your major output? It's the stakeholder register. Okay? Again, color code, just so that when you're done, you have a tool that you can come back to and use as you study for the exam. So there's develop project charter. There's identify stakeholders. As simple as that. See, does it make sense what I'm trying to do? Excuse me. I hope it makes sense what I'm trying to do here. When you're done with that, I want you to make it interesting for yourself. Don't just go through everything rote fashion. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. I want you to jump around the place, jump around the table. Go to closing, go to executing, go to monitoring and controlling, go back to planning, go to monitoring and controlling, go to executing, go back to planning. You know, up, down, everywhere. You should be on point to be able to flesh this thing out from anywhere. Let's take a random one. Validate scope. Let's go to validate scope right here. Come back table. Validate scope right here. Right here. There we go. Okay. So let us zoom in to validate scope. It is somewhat hidden, but you should be able to take any of these just like that. Let's move Phil out of the way. I think he's been an obstruction. Validate scope. What is the output of validate scope? All right, hold down your Alt and Enter. That's going to help you separate those two. Validate scope, the major output. Let's see if any of our friends is on this thing. Hey, is there anyone in YouTube universe on here today? Well, let's see. Let's see if any of our buddies is on today. Any of our friends. I see one person. Let's see. I don't think I have any chats. No chats. All right. You know, I'm always looking to engage with students. So anyway, validate scope. The output is accepted deliverable. Right? And we're going to make that a different color. And what about control scope? Now, when you get to things like control scope, this is where you need to remember in the monitoring and controlling process group, the outputs are very repetitive across many of the processes. So you're definitely going to have some updates. It could be project management plan updates, project documents updates. You also see in most of them, I'm not saying every single one, that you've got these updates. Because I know the project management plan update does not show, I believe it doesn't show in validate scope if I'm not mistaken. But the major outputs of some of these controlling processes would be things like WPI. So if you don't have a major output that's unique, just think about WPI, change requests, project management plan updates, project documents updates, and there's some where you would have organizational process assets updates. So if you go through all of them, you will find out which ones are like that. Recurring themes. I mean, it is so easy. I have to show you this one on a different page here. So think about it. You're going to get project management plan updates, PMPU, or project documents updates, PDUs, or you're going to get organizational process assets updates, or you're going to get change requests. You know, it's going to be and of course WPI. How could I forget that one? So not every single one, but majority of them, you will have updates to plans, documents, organizational process assets, change requests, or WPI. They usually have these in them in monitoring and controlling. So coming to a process such as control scope, I expect you to at a minimum, just have WPI at a minimum. See what I'm saying? Boom. Just like that. All right. And then jump somewhere else. Just pick one at random. Manage project knowledge. Manage project knowledge. What does MPK give you? I expect you to know that this is the lessons learned register. Okay? This is stuff that you should know. Fair game for your PMP exam, my friends. Fair game. What about DMPW? What do you get from this? You get your issue log. You get your deliverables. And you get what? What's the last one? Issue log, deliverables. There's one very notable one that you should know. Crickets. No one's saying anything. So I got to give it to you. It's the famous WPD, work performance data. You see, this is the level I need you to get to. This is the level I need you to be at. Okay? All the inputs, all the outputs, not even inputs, no, outputs. The reason why I don't get all gung-ho on the inputs before the outputs is the outputs usually become inputs to something else. So the first step in my mind is for you to know the outputs. When you know the outputs from these processes, then you can understand why you would see something like the project charter going into develop project management plan, or plan scope management, plan schedule management, and so on. This is the level I need you to get to. Okay, page 25 dump is the beginning. After the page 25 dump, the next step is to be able to describe this stuff. And then the next step is for you to put the outputs in. Okay? What about MCPW? Anyone know that one? Monitor and control project work. Your output, unique output, is WPR, work performance reports. Okay? What about your major output from perform integrated change control? Your major output is ACR, approved change requests. What else? There is one that is smuggled into a sub-bullet. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way they smuggled that into a sub-bullet. That needed to be right up top, but they smuggled it into a sub-bullet. I'm talking about the change log. I take offense with that one. I'm a change log fan. So they should have brought the change log to the surface. Not good. Not good. Anyway, I've learned to live with it. I've learned to live with that one. Okay. Let's go to CPOP. Let's go to close project or phase. Close project or phase. Close project or phase. Your major output is, I am in high demand. I got to turn that thing off. All right, so back to el grindo. Back to the grind. Close project or phase. It has an output known as final product, service, or result transition. Final product, service, or result transition. So it's a long one. And then we also have final report as an output. Okay. What about develop project management plan? Let's bring that one in here. Develop project management plan. Your major output is, of course, the project management plan. Okay, all of this is from my head. There is no PMBOK guide in sight. Likewise, you guys need to know this. Cold. When you know this cold, your mind begins to put the pieces together. A lot of people don't do this. They don't remember the outputs, and it's hurting them. This is why I want you to know the outputs. This is what I want you to do. You've got a process, right? Process. Let me show you a concept here. You've got a process, and that process has inputs. Let's put them over here. Inputs. These inputs are worthless without your tool and technique. And if you don't get an output, what a waste of time. As you study these outputs, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for you to do. As you study these inputs, I want you to make this connection. I want you to make a connection between, I'll show you here in a second. I want you to make a connection between the input and the tool and technique. Okay? Then from the tool and technique, it makes sense how you got the output. You see what I'm saying? You need to understand your tool and technique is good, but if you don't have an input, what are you doing? When you do have the input and you're working the tool and technique, you get the output. And that's why the output, if you understand the output, then the next step is asking, how did I work the process to get that output? And then what did I use in conjunction with the tool and technique to get that output? For example, let's say I'm in validate scope. Okay? In validate scope, I am going to get an accepted deliverable, right? That is going to be my output. Okay? And make it smaller. If I can. Oh, there we go. And let me move it. Okay, so you guys can see it now. A little bit. Okay. So accepted deliverable is the output. But how did you get the accepted deliverable? You got the accepted deliverable from the tool and technique known as inspection. Without inspection, you would not get an accepted deliverable because you needed to inspect it before you accepted it. Get it? So what is linking this? Inspection is linked to the accepted deliverable. Then you ask the question, okay, well, what exactly am I inspecting? You are inspecting a verified deliverable. The verified deliverable is what you are inspecting. Get it? It's all interwoven. All of these tools and techniques, inputs and outputs, it forms a matrix of sorts. And that's how you need to be thinking about this stuff, my friends. This is how I want you to think. Output first, and then ask yourself, how did I get this output? What tool and technique is connected to it? Oh, this tool and technique. What raw material did I have to work this tool and technique? Is what I'm saying making sense? I hope it is. All right. So going back here, my friends, what I am looking for you to do. I know lots of you are going to groan. That's fine. You're going to moan and groan because you know I always keep you on your toes. You're like, that fell again. And whether you are in my live class or you are my YouTube student, because a lot of you, thank you for sending all those emails, all those messages. Lots of you say, Phil, I'm watching your videos and they've been a great help. And some of you chat in and say, thank you for helping me on my PMP journey. I felt you were with me all the way. I watched your videos. Thank you. Keep them coming. I love it. I love it. But this is one thing I ask of you. When you do get certified, show your buddy Phil a little bit of love and let him know that his videos helped. And also send your friends to sign up for our training. That's all I ask. Okay? And hey, your company. Get your company on the bandwagon with me. I would be more than happy to come out there and help you, as I have in many companies around the world. All right? So I wanted to show up here today for your success. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. That's yours to do as the student. But I just wanted to give you an extended vision, an extended mindset. Because page 25 is all well and good. Yes. I know lots of you do page 25 in the PMBOK guide. Let's take a look at its mugshot. That book, right? I know a lot of you do page 25. But page 25 is not the end. It's the beginning. Page 25, you need to put it on steroids. You need to give it something that makes it pop. And what makes it pop is exactly that. It's you taking it to the next level. You got to get the next level proficiency. Next level proficiency is not just process groups, knowledge areas, and process. You got to get to the next level. In a previous episode of these touch points, some of you remember I showed you what one of my students did, Imran. The moment Imran heard of my idea, he went out straight away to Home Depot. I know some of you are like, Home Depot? What does that have to do with PMP? Well, he went to Home Depot to purchase a whiteboard. As soon as he saw my concept about mapping all this stuff out, getting into your head, and doing the not just tools and techniques, not just the processes, but he took it to a next level and had a whiteboard with all the outputs. Whiteboarded. And he didn't just stop at that. He also included, he took me up on the challenge because I remember challenging that group. He not only did the tools and techniques, he not only did the outputs, I beg your pardon, he also did the inputs. And while I don't have that slide, I've shown it in a previous touch point. Maybe in the next one, I will look for his example of how every day, every single day, inputs, outputs, process, page 25. And not just every input. You do know, again, this has got to be a different video. I'm going to have to do another video for you guys. But you do know that there are some inputs that are very unique. They're different. You don't see them everywhere. And here's a sad thing. A lot of this detail was lost in previous versions. The 6th edition, it's all just bundled into a sack and tossed over the wall as project documents. No. In previous editions, it was very well thought out. I think the 5th edition, which I have in my library here, that was the best in my mind as far as they got it. They shouldn't have changed it. They shouldn't have. But they changed it in the 6th. So now we've got these project documents all over the place, just willy-nilly. It was in the 5th edition that you would observe, and you can see this in the 6th edition, cost forecasts. It made sense. You only saw them as an input, one place. Now, if you're going through the 6th edition, you probably haven't even noticed that cost forecasts are only a sub-bullet as an input in one process. Do you know which process that is? All I hear is crickets. No one's chatting in today. Is your boss riding you? Is your boss like really making sure you're working so You can't watch me on YouTube. Your boss has you engaged, I guess. Okay. Cost forecast, check it out. Then schedule forecasts. Check out schedule forecasts. They both only go to one process. I want someone in the chat to tell me, what is that process? You see, these are the challenges. And this is what Imran did. And it really helped him master the content and, of course, become a PMP boss. So, my friends, in absence of anything or questions, I just want to say well done for staying on track. Those of you who, I might be able to show you Imran's little creation here. I think I've got it somewhere. I think. Let me see. But anyway, those of you getting ready for the PMP exam, I've said this quite a number of times. If you are taking any exam, anyone, if you're taking any exam in 2020, you are going to be using the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. Okay? PMBOK Guide 6th edition, not the 7th edition. Okay? Which is why I have said on this channel many times, come on and join me on Saturdays. Because whether you're doing the pilot exam, whether you're doing the current exam, we have training that can help you. And that training is delivered on Saturdays. Saturdays. We have Saturday training for 4 hours from 11 Eastern to 3 Eastern. And we also have on Wednesdays, if you sign up, also on Wednesdays, we have from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. another session that focuses on just knowledge areas. So on Saturday, we go into the content outline, and it's still relevant, even if you are taking the so-called current exam. I have to be honest with you, all this stuff is fair game. It is fair game. Look. I have to show you this. Some of you've got your head in the sand. You're ignoring this book. Don't do that. This stuff is relevant. I know it's relevant. Let me show you something. In the mail today, I got some new lifeblood and some buddies for this one. I got my book from Big Mike, Succeeding with Agile, Mr. Mike Cohn, Agile Leader. Oh, Ken the Don. That's a book on Scrum from our friend Ken, the originator of Scrum. And this book is recommended, those of you who are in the training, hey, if you have not signed up for Agile training, what are you doing? Go to agileprinciple.com. agileprinciple.com. So why did I get this book? Because my co-trainer and my coach, Roy, said, hey, you need to get this book. He told everyone who was on the call, on the webinar last week. Did you guys take action? I did. So this is Agile Retrospectives. So why am I showing you this? I'm showing you this to inspire you to look more into Agile. Because the current exam, it does have Agile. Some of you act like it doesn't. It does have Agile in it. Do you know how long it's had Agile in it? Since 2017 at a maximum. I even think it was before that, but let's just be conservative and say since 2017. Or 2018. This is 2020. Agile has been on the exam. Now, some people would say, oh, it's just a small dose. Well, they got to amp up the dose. Do you know what I believe? I believe that even the so-called current exam is beginning to be a shadow of what is to come, in that you are beginning to see more Agile presence in pre-test questions. That's how these things work. So if you're looking at the pilot exam and thinking, oh, that's beyond what I need to... No, it's not. No, it's not. The pilot exam is a different flavor of questions, more presence of hybrid and Agile, but that is not to say the current exam does not contain any Agile. If you think that, you're in the dark ages. The current exam has Agile in it. And that's why I say all these courses, all these flavors I'm putting together for you, they are all relevant to the current exam, the pilot exam, and the July 1st exam. So if you're hearing me and you go to pmsucceed.com and you see the ridiculous deal I've got for you, you don't sign up. Why? Why wouldn't you sign up? Right now, it is going for $350 for 2 months online access to our LMS. And in addition to that, you get to come on Saturday and Wednesday, and you get a wholesome, robust assortment of training to help you, whether you're taking the current, whether you're taking the pilot. Why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you joining? You are shortchanging yourself. You absolutely should be there. But anyway, I got sidetracked. I was looking for IMRAN'S thing. I'm sorry, I'll have to show that to you another day. But if you have any questions for me, if you are on with me live, you can chat in your questions. There's no one chatting in the questions. So I'll say thanks for joining. And I'm going to put you back onto your buddy, Dustin. Some of you have been watching Dustin. Dustin was a student of mine who was very, very passionate about the PMP exam. And I mean, he met up with people who were on the course already, blew past them, and got certified before any of them knew what was happening. And he's a 4AT student, 4 above targets. I'm going to put him back on so that you can listen to what he has to say. But very remarkable student who bossed up. He studied hard, did what he needed to do, and you can do the same thing. But he put in time and effort and energy. You know, it was his waking dream. He would dream and he was awake of getting certified. That was his obsession. I need to get certified. I need to get certified. And he did it. He did. So I'm going to put you back onto our buddy Dustin. He's a project manager, and he has joined me a few times to offer touch points, motivation sessions. Some of you actually got certified through his inspiration, right? Because a lot of people on this channel are now Dustin fans. So let me put Dustin back on, and I wish you all the very best. Remember, if you're taking a PMP exam, you need to sign up. If you're drowning alone, sinking alone, don't do it. Don't do it. We've got a lifeline. Join us, pmsucceed.com. If you're like, Phil, whoa, I don't know this Agile stuff. I don't want to get involved. I don't want the pilot stuff. Just give me raw knowledge area. Okay. Well, you can go to pmanonymous.com. Wednesdays, we've got just knowledge area coaching. Okay? So whatever you want to do, I've got you covered. Those of you ACPers who want to go to the ACP dark side, like I did, the agileprinciple.com site will help you. I know there's so many moving parts. It's not my fault. The PMI has so many certifications. It's ridiculous. They got so many of them. I mean, should I tell you the truth? There was a time I forgot to renew my PMP. I've got too many PMI certifications. I forgot. So I got this message saying, well, you're no longer a PMP. In good standing. What? I had to double down and get my PDUs in a line, get my ducks in a row and register my PDUs quick and get back to dry land. But there was actually a time, because I've got 6 PMI certifications, I actually did forget to renew my PDUs. Terrible. All right, here comes Dustin. Thanks for joining me today, my friends.
Mic right now, by the way.
It's sounding great. And welcome, everyone. The voice you're hearing is Dustin, our latest PMP on the block. Dustin has been on this journey for a very long time, going through, first of all, a degree, right, in academia. Is that right?
Bachelor's degree in project management, yeah.
Wow. Bachelor's degree in project management. And from there into the world of the PMI. So this has been quite a journey, and it excites me that we are at the end of the journey. where Dustin has been able to get the prize, and he's back to tell us how exactly he did it. So without much ado, I hand the baton over to you, Dustin. Take it away and tell us, how did you get this done?
Hey, thanks, Phil. I appreciate that very much. And I'm here today to let you know about the lessons learned, right? I took my exam last Saturday on the 19th of January. So obviously talking about the PMBOK 6th edition. If you're reading the 5th, you need to throw it out or put it on the shelf. How's that sound? So I wanted to start by talking about, just give a quick rundown of, applying for the exam. Okay. And the reason that I want to start here is because I went through the application process and logged all my experience and did everything that the PMI wanted me to do. And of course, I got audited. Okay. So we want to make sure we meet all our prereqs, which I did that, no problem. Then you gather your necessary information and submit it. And then so the biggest thing, they audited my application instantly. As soon as I submitted it, I had an email. So have you been audited? Great. That's no problem because I have all my ducks in a row. I talked to my former bosses or my former boss and got, he did all the the stuff he needed to do, signed off on everything. So it was no problem to submit all the information. So I submitted the information, and about 2 days later came back and got an email, maybe a week. I got an email from the PMI, said my application audit was rejected. And so that was a big hit for me. And they gave me some suggestions in that email descriptions. They said the reason it was audited was because of the project descriptions, the experience descriptions. And so they kind of laid it out exactly, not exactly how they wanted it, but they kind of gave me a gist. Here's what we would like to see. So I just structured it slightly different, but they want to see it broken down as I don't know if we're all have applied yet, but so they want it broken down as the job title and the description, and then the goal or objective, and then we start with initiating. We want abbreviations: IN parentheses colon. I created the project charter. I helped create the project charter and held meetings. Perform meeting management techniques, blah, 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 and develop the project charter, right? And develop the stakeholder register and initiating. Then we say PL for planning. You get what I'm saying, but we can abbreviate those things. Project charter. I helped develop PC and SR, and identify stakeholders, right? So those are just some tips that I wanted to give everyone that hasn't applied for the exam yet. And I strongly recommend that you would have somebody look over the descriptions that you put in there. Perhaps I would be glad to do it. To be honest with you, I would be glad to look over any information, or I'm sure Phil would probably has a video for that. Actually, you know what? He does have a video for that. He showed me the video, but it was after I'd already applied and got approved and all that stuff. But he actually does have a video on Praizion YouTube channel. So type in PMP exam application on Praizion YouTube channel and you'll see it. So we're going to move on with that. So to prepare for the PMP exam, excuse me just one second. Excuse me. To prepare for the PMP exam, well, first we need to purchase the PMBOK, right? We need to do a little research. Purchase the PMBOK is first and foremost, and read it. We have to read the PMBOK 6th edition, and you want to go to roughly, well, we're in the 600s. You want to go to around page 6. Excuse me. You want to start at page 562 and just kind of give a brief, you can give a brief over, it'll gives you short descriptions and process descriptions and key benefits in a short and sweet kind of manner.